Guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, I'd like you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification button so that you will be notified whenever new videos are being posted. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 11 things you should note before making any trip at all to the United States, whether for school, tourism, or anything at all. I've listed a couple of things here that I'll be sharing with you, so bear in mind. I'll be reading sometimes, yeah. So first of all, if US is not going to be your final destination and you'll be making a transit through US, you will need a transit visa. Okay, so let's say your final destination will be Canada and you've bought a ticket that is going to make a transit or a connection in the US. You will need a transit visa for that. You can't just make a transit through the United States. So always make sure you get the right documents or the right itinerary. The right itinerary being an itinerary that does not make a connection through the United States, and the right documents being getting yourself a transit visa. Otherwise, you won't even be allowed to go past your departure airport. Okay, so please take note of that. The second thing I'm going to talk about is if you're traveling with $10,000 and above, you should declare it at the airport. So one of the questions you will be asked is how much money are you coming to the US with? So at that point, if you have $10,000 and above, that is when you should declare it. So if you don't declare it and something comes up and you have to be searched and all of that, and they find it later on, I'm sure you are definitely going to be delayed at the airport and you will not enjoy the experience. It's a legal requirement under the Bank Secrecy Act to prevent money laundering and other illegal activities. So once you have, it is suspected that you're capable of something like that, so you just declare it. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to talk about is understand the tipping culture in the US. Tipping is legal, yes, and you are expected to tip people who offer services to you. Even though you are expected to do that, it is not compulsory, it is not by force. But then, since it's legal, some of the people can even ask you, add the tip. Where's the tip? I mean, they can ask you about it. I remember I took a cab and the driver asked me to add the tip. So we're expected to tip all forms of services, okay, from cab drivers to room service, waiters and waitresses, okay. So you are expected to tip, and the tipping practice ranges from 15% to 20%. The only place that I went that I wasn't really expected to give a tip was a Chinese restaurant that I visited. Okay, so on the bill, they wrote on the bill that you are not expected to give a tip. So that means you do it out of your own will. But there are some places that they'll be looking at you, they'll be expecting you to do it because you have to, The next thing I'm going to talk about is transportation. Okay, so you have trains, transit buses, cabs, and Uber at your disposal. You also have your legs, okay? Yes, you can wake up in New York and see lots of people walking. They walk a lot, okay? When they tell you that it's just 5 blocks down the line, don't think it's just here. You'll be walking your ass out, okay? Also, walking helps you familiarize yourself with the place. You'll be seeing lots of shops around, beautiful stuff, beautiful buildings and all of that. So you can also choose to walk most of the time. So you can get yourself a Metro card, load money on it and use it for the trains. Also with the Uber and cabs, payment is mostly done with your credit card, and the amount will be deducted before the driver gets to your location. Unlike other countries where cash payment is more common and the driver comes to your location, takes you to your destination before you make payment. In this case, the money will be deducted before the driver gets to your location. And we all know that prices can go high depending on whether you get stuck in traffic or whatever. So if they happen to deduct an amount that will be lower than the final price that will be displayed, the amount will be reversed back to your card and the total amount will be deducted later on. Most states, including New York City, are getting a new fleet of Tesla taxis, and this brand is known as Revel. So you can just download it on your phone and order it anytime you need a ride. Now there's so much traffic in New York City, so if that's where you'll be staying, brace yourself for that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is United States has diverse culture. It embraces lots of people, from international students to international workers and so many. So you're going to meet a lot of people from different parts of the world. You're going to taste different types of food and so many things, which makes it so fun. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is expect to pay more than the actual price that has been displayed or the actual price that you've been told. So you can visit some shops, hotels, or anywhere, and the actual price they will give you mostly does not include taxes. So let's say you're going to buy perfume and you ask for the price and they say $120. They will say $120 plus taxes will make it maybe $160 or $145. Yes, so that's how they quote the prices. The price is $120 plus taxes will make you $160 or $145. So brace yourself and always expect to pay more than you have been told. Next is do not forget to go with a travel insurance that has a medical coverage, because medical systems in the United States is very expensive. So if you're going on a short trip, make sure you go with a travel insurance. Some car companies will charge a young rental fee if you are below the required age, and this fee will be in addition to the daily rental fee. Other car companies have waived this, so people between 18 and 25 can rent a car in the US. Next is plan your itinerary accordingly. So if you're going to be there on a short trip, but then you want to visit other states, you can do that by air or by train. So you can book an Amtrak train. So the Amtrak train can cover about 4 states within a day, and that is going to be time consuming. So you can divide it. You can visit 2 states in a day, 2 states the next day, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so Amtrak can do that for you, or you can go by air. And I mean, it's good to visit the other states because each state has its own beautiful things to offer. So once you are there, you should try your best to visit the other states in the US. Also, there are some top view buses available that can take you to the most parts of the city, and it costs $100 for 3 days. So in a single day, it will take you to most parts of the city. The next day, it will take you to different parts until your ticket is exhausted on the 3rd day. And they will also be briefing you about the history of all the things and the monuments that you will be seeing. So it's a bit fun and it's very informative. Yes. There is a difference between Washington, D.C. and Washington State. Washington, D.C. is the capital, and Washington State is a state in the USA. So on this day, I decided to visit 3 other states in the US aside New York City. So I booked a train, Amtrak, to visit 3 states, which includes Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Virginia. So I left New York around 11 a.m. and in about 2 hours time I got to Philadelphia. But then I had only 40 minutes to spend in Philadelphia because the next train to Washington, D.C. would be leaving in 45 or 50 minutes time. So I got a cab and told the driver to take me to some few tourist sites, which would also be close to the train station because I wouldn't want to miss the train. So the first place it took me was the Philadelphia Art Museum. Now, the first thing I saw was this classic bronze and granite sculpture, which featured George Washington mounted on a horse. and is poised on top of a fountain. This is the largest art museum in the world in terms of gallery space. It administers collections containing over 240,000 objects, including major holdings of European origin. Various classes include sculpture, paintings, drawings, and photograph. The Rocky statue on the side of the museum had a plaque which included a quote from the 2006 film Rocky Balboa, and it read, "It's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done." That is very deep. Next is a visit to the Liberty Bell, which is an iconic symbol of America's independence in Philadelphia. In its early years, the bell was used to summon lawmakers to legislative sessions and to alert citizens about public meetings. Liberty Bell and Independence Hall is where Constitution and Declaration of Independence in the United States was signed. So we can say that the foundation of the country was planned here. So due to the time, we decided to head back towards the train station. One thing I really love about Philadelphia is that the place is not overly congested. It has less traffic. The place is beautiful and it looks peaceful. Yes, I love places like this. As a matter of fact, this was the only day I had enough time to visit the other states. I really wasn't going to get time to do this again. But like I said earlier, plan your itinerary well and accordingly. You can choose to visit one state at a time so that you will have enough time to explore the place, one state a day or two states a day, however you prefer to do it. The city was named after George Washington, one of the founding fathers and the first president of the United States. It is a seat of the U.S. federal government and several international organizations. It is the 8th most visited city in the United States, with over 2 million visitors as of 2020. Most of the governmental buildings that house the federal government, including the White House, can be found here. It has 177 foreign embassies and serves as the headquarters for World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and other international organizations.
Turn right onto 6th Street Northwest.
Unlike other American cities, Washington, D.C. has no genuine skyscrapers, as the city has severe height restrictions on its buildings, and only 2 completed buildings are considered to surpass 200 feet.
And I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be.
So I got a bus that took me back to the train station, and the next state was supposed to be Virginia, but at this point I was getting a bit tired and it was 5 p.m. so I rescheduled the train back to New York instead of Virginia. Thank you guys very much for watching.